I, for one, am a massive fan of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. A great game, guys, that has really captivated a lot of people, got a lot of people to kind of talk about a potential sequel to this game. So what we're going to talk about in this first segment of this show is everything that we kind of know so far about The Legend of Zelda 2, and when can we kind of expect this game to hit our shelves and be able to play this game as the continuation of the series. So let's talk about it. In an article, guys, that was written by Tech Radar, dust off your climbing boots and paraglider, gamers. Nintendo has confirmed that a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel is in development, with a breathtaking trailer pointing to a darker turn for the next mainline Zelda game. Nintendo dropped the bombshell at the end of its E3 2019 presentation, confirming our suspicions after the Japanese publisher appeared to be hiring for a 3D level designer in 2018. However, we've been kept in the dark regarding an official release date. But what will Breath of the Wild 2 do differently from the first game? And when will we finally get our hands on it is the big question, obviously. Breath of the Wild was a masterclass in open world game design, breathing a huge gust of fresh air into the Zelda franchise while somehow retaining everything that made the series special. Widely considered one of the best games of 2017, if not all time, it's no surprise Nintendo is working on a direct sequel. So this was a game, guys, that, people were saying, like, dude, this is the greatest game ever made, and people were saying, like, it was the best game, obviously, of 2017. I think it was certainly the best game of 2017. I'm not going to go all time, because there were things that kind of bothered me about The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Nothing, like, super significant, but I don't know if it was necessarily, if I would put it as all-time great. I mean, probably, it's certainly up there, but I don't know. I might have to revisit it again and just, play it again. And then obviously the sequel, which would be the second game here in this franchise, even though they've made a number of games before this, I think it would be really interesting to see where they go moving forward. So this is the upcoming sequel, obviously, guys, to 2017's open world Zelda game. What can we play it on? It'll be Nintendo Switch. And when can you play it? 2020 at the earliest, but likely after that. Yeah, I don't think that it's going to be coming out in 2020, guys. I think it's probably going to be coming out, I would assume, let's say we get some more information here in 2020, and then 2021, we'll probably even get further information. I would say we're probably going to be playing it in 2021 or 2022, in my personal opinion. Now, as far as the release date is concerned, Nintendo hasn't shared much information other than the trailer and a few sparse comments run through below, but the trailer did close off with a line stating the Breath of the Wild sequel was in development. We certainly don't think we'll see the game being released in the coming months. Last year, leaker Sabi suggested that Breath of the Wild is due for release in 2020, but warned that Zelda release dates are historically delayed internally or publicly. And it seems they were right, as the leaker has since claimed that Breath of the Wild has been delayed likely into 2021. Breath of the Wild 2 taking longer than anticipated back during E3 2019, so it doesn't seem to be this year's holiday release, which adds more credence to the major title I was referencing on a tweet the other day. Neither are set in stone yet, so take some salt. That is pretty true, okay? While it's always worth taking rumors with a big pinch of salt, Sabi is a pretty reliable leaker. The Twitter user leaked most of the big announcements from E3 2019 before they happened, reportedly even earning himself a cease and desist order from Nintendo. So, obviously, guys, there was a Breath of the Wild trailer that came out. As far as news and rumors is concerned, obviously, most likely it's going to be delayed to at least 2021. The development of Breath of the Wild 2 is rolling along, and updates are very thin on the ground at the moment. But according to a report by Video Games Chronicle, the game's co-developer Monolith Soft is looking to expand its team with adverts for a character modeler, concept art designer, map modeler, and scenario planner for a new Zelda game. Hiring extra hands for the development of such a highly anticipated game can't be a bad thing, and suggests that the teams are working hard on getting the game ready for whenever as yet unrevealed release date is. So, look, guys, I think when you look at all of this, like there was a lot of different hirings going on. Everything's pointing to that this is a game that's probably, pretty deep in development. Now, I would say, look, this is a title that I obviously don't want Nintendo to rush out, simply because, look, I mean, you're following up one of the best games of 2017, and a lot of people are talking about it as all-time great. So, I mean, look, take your time with it, make it look incredible, and I will say, like, as far as the map is concerned, and everything that went into The Legend of Zelda, you can just tell how how detail oriented the developers were with this game, and I'm excited to see the continuation of this franchise. Now, obviously, guys, lots of hiring calls, lots of lots of different behind the scenes looks of Breath of the Wild 2. But one thing that is interesting is in an interview with Kotaku, Zelda series producer Eiji Onamu said there were originally plans for more DLC content for Breath of the Wild after the Champions Ballad and Master Trials add-ons that came in 2017. Initially, we were thinking of just DLC ideas, says Onama, but then we had a lot of ideas and we said, this is too many ideas. Let's just make one new game and start from scratch. So that's kind of interesting that they decided to not do more DLC. And I think that's okay though. They had a couple of DLC. Now let's see where they go moving forward. Now, a darker turn for the series. All we really know at this point is how little we know. But boy, are there rumors. The unexpected trailer has already sparked a huge amount of speculation, hopes, and hot takes on what the next mainline Zelda title might include. We've heard from Zelda series producer Eiji Aonuma that the game is going to have a darker tone than Breath of the Wild and will even be a little bit darker than Majora's Mask. The trailer certainly supports this, with what looks like Ganondorf's corpse being resurrected by a disembodied hand, and seemingly imagery from 2006 Twilight Princess, which saw Hyrule turned into a black shadow realm, largely in response to the far cheerier and cartoonish The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Now, what I'll say about that is it does look darker. But the Breath of the Wild was somewhat dark as well. I mean, it kind of really reminded me of like Lord of the Rings, like a cartoony Lord of the Rings. In a lot of ways, you had like obviously the volcano, the castle. You had all these different areas, right, that you could explore in Breath of the Wild, and it got kind of like that feel. Now, this does feel even darker, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about it quite yet. I'm just obviously going to have to see, as we get further and closer to the release date of the game. So, the glowing blue hand in the trailer is the biggest clue that we'll be seeing more of the Twilight shadow people descended from Hylians who tried to take the power of the Triforce for themselves. The hand is wrapped in twisting shapes reminiscent of Twilight architecture, while the swirling Magiku reminds some of the portals that led Twilight invade Hyrule in the 2006 game. We know that Breath of the Wild's dev team originally toyed with the idea of an alien invasion, and seeing shadow creatures teleport out of the sky could well have been what they have planned this time around. Now, look, guys, if there was like a wish list for me, one of the things is I really would like to play some enemies that I don't know, kind of seem a little bit more a little bit like more evil, I guess you could say. Like a lot of the creatures that you play in Breath of the Wild don't seem that scary. Now the spiders, those spider-looking robots, the robots and such were kind of like, were pretty intriguing. I really enjoyed those battles and such. But a lot of just the other creatures just weren't really, just didn't really feel that exciting to me, at least. So I'd like to really see some darker creatures that come into the fray into Breath of the Wild 2. I think that would be something I think would be really smart for the developers to try out. And I think that, an alien invasion, that would be kind of interesting to see what that could maybe look like. There's a lot of different ways that they could go. I also think the combat, I'd like some of the combat mechanics to get a little bit better. I noticed a lot of times, like I'm accidentally, instead of doing one thing, I'm accidentally doing something else. So some of the combat mechanics, I think it would be nice if those got a little bit better. And there was just a lot of times during Breath of the Wild, guys, where I would end up like there would be creatures coming out of the ground, like as you're just moving around the plains of the Breath of the Wild landscape, and there would be a lot of times that I would just disengage from battle. I wouldn't even want to fight because some of the combat at times got a little bit stale to me. So I hope that they are able to kind of, change that a little bit in a way that is more, acceptable to everybody. I know a lot of people really liked it. I didn't really like it that much, but it'll be interesting to see what they do in the second iteration of Breath of the Wild. Now, rumors about the Breath of the Wild sequel suggest that we could be in for a treat in the form of a new map that's not like anything we've seen from Zelda before. What's more, a couple of new job listings suggest that Nintendo is looking for people to work on designing some dungeons and hidden bosses for the game. So far, so exciting. So one of the favorite fan theories during the rounds regards the Hyrule Princess herself. She's shown in the trailer with a practical short haircut and is dressed in a manner pretty similar to Link's own adventure's gear, leading some to think she may be a playable character. Zelda's devs have seemed pretty dismissive of the idea of a female Link in the past, sadly, but we may in this game see sections playing as Zelda, or at least with her playing a more active role in the story. Look, I've got nothing against playing as a female Link. I think that would be that'd be cool to at least have a playable character, but I think that you should have the option to play as, just Link or a female Link. I think that those options would certainly be kind of cool. I don't see why that would be an issue whatsoever. Obviously, though, you want to see like a narrative and a story that's going to make sense. And if you're playing the female Link, you definitely kind of want that to kind of intertwine with what the story would be if you were playing just as male Link, right? So I think that'll be something interesting that we'll kind of have to keep an eye on, guys. And I think that there is just so much information that is out there, but a lot of it, some of it's not confirmed, some of it is. But there's just so many, question marks with this game. I'm really excited, though, nonetheless. I think this is going to be a great game. And I think that they're giving it more time for them to kind of really just kind of give us a fresh breath of air, right? Like, no pun intended, but I think that's really what we need for the sequel to this game that was, regarded by many as an incredible masterpiece in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So it'll be interesting, guys. I'm really excited. I will definitely be keeping you guys up to speed as new information comes out. And so let me know what you guys think, though. What do you guys think about a second Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild? Let me know in the comment section below as to what it is you guys want to see in the sequel to the very successful game. And for more content and videos based around The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, stay right here with Zero TV.